Hello and welcome back to the Bad Mouth Podcast. So today we're going to talk about yesterday's shambolic game of football, which is Tottenham West Ham at home. I haven't even got the lineup up because, to be honest, recently, and by recently I mean the last video, but there's no point reviewing the match itself when that's not really the problem. Although, yeah, yesterday's game was terrible and, you know, so many things went wrong. But, I mean, overall, it's not just about the one game. It's about the overarching problems that are at the club and that are just, you know, within it. I think I'm gonna do the normal what I used to do. We'll go through each player, how I think about them, whatever. But to start off with, the last game we won was Palace. That was last year, 28th of December, and it's mid-January. We still haven't won a game, and we've got Dortmund next week, which honestly I wouldn't be surprised if we actually ended up winning that. But yeah, I'm gonna assume the losing streak is going to continue. Anyway, players, Vicario. I mean, although, yeah, he didn't really have much to do, although we did concede 2 goals. I think the first goal was not his fault. It was deflection. What could he do? Second goal, I don't know why he's complaining. There's no foul on him, so there's no point for him to start moaning, saying, "Oh, he was grabbing me," whatever. You know, stopping me from doing my job. It's just pathetic, mate. You're just trying to find any excuse to try and get at least a point from against West Ham at home, which I think's disgraceful. You shouldn't really be doing that. Porro, I think, actually had a pretty decent game, to be fair. You know, it was winning tackles. He was, actually put some good crosses in, like the one for Romero's goal. Yeah, I think he was definitely our best player on the pitch yesterday. Yeah, Romero, I think, yeah, he scored the goal and it's a great header from a great cross from Porro. I just think didn't really do much else in the game. I mean, again on Porro, I think it was Porro's fault for the first goal because he went in too deep and just got done in by Somerville, which a competent right back or competent player would know not to do that and just stay on him. But, Porro was terrible in that first half, but obviously then he did get better, I'll give him that. Anyway, yeah, back on Romero, I didn't do much other than the goal, really. He keeps on getting bookings, and I think it's pathetic from him, really. Same with Van der Ven, keep moaning and moaning about whatever, but it's your fault. We can see 2, you're the defence, it's your fault, and it's your problem to deal with that, with the opposition's attack. Davies got injured early on, probably not going to see him for the rest of the season at this rate. Gallagher, I actually think, had a really, really good debut, although obviously didn't really create much until the last 20 minutes, and although they didn't really come to much. But I think he actually played pretty decent, and I think that he's going to continue to grow and grow, and I'm quite looking forward to seeing him on the thing. And about Gallagher, I think he's a great signing for Tottenham. I think he's really going to bring a lot to the club. And although people are saying he's not going to fit and whatever, yes, there was a prime example. He's actually not. I think he fits decently well. And although I don't think Thomas Frank's the right man, which I'll get into later, I'm sure, I think he played decent considering everything, really. Archie, I don't even remember seeing him in that first half, to be fair, and he came off at just after half time. So, not much to say about him either. Odobert, I think, was lively, but, need to pass a little bit more, and not just start running and running and running. Same with Tell, I think. Although they're actually playing pretty decent, especially when they're starting together or playing together, I think, they're definitely better like that. But I also think they need to sort of learn they can still play good without one or the other, because I think that we're not always going to be able to start Odobert and Tell, because hopefully next summer we get a proper left winger and another backup winger on either side, and Tell and Odobert aren't going to be starting every single game, especially together. So they sort of need to learn to play without each other. I think Xavi was okay. There was nothing really unique about what he did. I mean, he definitely did try, and I'll give him that. He did try, but I don't think hard enough. Cullen Warnett, I think, was terrible. I think he has been for the past few games. I thought after scoring the 2 goals against PSG in the Champions League, I thought he'd sort of, develop it further more. But he did a few games afterwards. But yeah, recently he's not been up there. He's not been up to scratch, and yeah, I don't think he's been playing well. I do just want to add on about the Castellanos, the West Ham striker, should have been sent off after like 30 minutes. So, terrible refereeing. I think the refereeing in the game was okay, but some points it was horrific. I mean, there was when Gallagher was right on the edge of the line, and then one of the defenders quite literally pushes the ball away with his fingers. How that isn't a penalty, I don't know what is. I mean, sure, you could make the argument his hands are in a natural position, but again, it's pushing the ball away. I don't get how that's a natural position, or whatever they want to argue for that. I mean, it says a lot when they're trying to find that incident when I don't think anyone even complained about it because no one even saw it. I never saw it to begin with. So I think them trying to find that, I don't know why they didn't give it in the first place. Is it a penalty? I think all day long. Even if it was one of our defenders that did it, I think it's a penalty. I think it's a stupid penalty to give away, but it's definitely a penalty. So I just think that's poor from the ref. And just overall, the game was it was terrible. I mean, yeah, from both sides, West Ham are terrible, and they're the worst we've seen them in years. They're a terrible team. They're a terrible run club, and honestly, I feel for the fans because their club is it's not run properly. It's not run great, and them coming to us and getting 3 points, I think, really says a lot. Not about our squad particularly, but the manager. Yes, and I'm pretty sure did lose both home games against West Ham when he was there. But West Ham weren't as bad as they are now, right? And although, yes, they were still terrible, and yes, we still should have won those games, but you've got to think of it as the West Ham, they're as worse as they've ever been in however many long. So I think, although we're in terrible form, so are they. We should be expecting, as Tottenham fans, to go to that game and put out a performance. Although it's not a big derby like your Tottenham Arsenal, it's still a London derby nonetheless, and we should still be actually try and win that game. And like the reverse fixture at the London Stadium early in the season, the 3-0 win, we played brilliant then, and we sort of knew how to play against a team that is struggling and that aren't playing to the top of their ability. And we actually got 3 points, and it was convincing. This game, for West Ham fans, wouldn't be convincing, and even if we did win this game, wouldn't be convincing, because although we had so many different chances, especially in that second half, to actually score, we didn't. It would not have been a convincing win either way. And honestly, I wouldn't even be happy with a draw, because it'd be disgraceful, to be honest with you. It'd be a terrible draw, and it'd be a terrible win. But although if we did win, a win's a win nonetheless. I just think it's poor from the team, and honestly, I said it in the last video, and I'm probably going to say it again, but the team need to get a grip of themselves. I don't know what it is. That stops them from, playing football properly. I don't know what stops them from doing that. But something does. I don't know if it's, upset with the club, upset with the manager. I do not know what it is. But whatever it is, it needs to be sorted. It needs to, something needs to be done. And how Frank has still got his job after that game, I do not know. He should have, honestly, it should have happened the same exact thing happened with Ange at Forest. Should have been sacked at full time. Because it was a disgraceful performance, and Frank needs to go. He needs to go. And I do not understand how he's still got a job. I do not understand it. He needs to go, never come back, and I want him to go down as a Tottenham manager we all forget about, because I do not want to remember this segment of the club's history, as you come off the back of a Europa League win and you come back and you play this shit. You come back and you forget how to play football. You go in the summer and January and you buy your players like Xavi and Gallagher, and you're somehow worse than you were last season. Although, yes, we don't have Maddison and Kulu because they're injured. It doesn't matter. Although, yes, they're going to bring so much more than what we already have. But with your Xavi and your Conor Gallagher, you should be matching last year, if not doing better. And although, yes, matching last year would mean you get 17th. But we still... We were higher in the table at this point last year. And yes, we've still got less than half of the season left. And anything can happen, right? We can obviously turn this around and we can win every single game on the bounce. Will it happen? Of course it won't, because if we keep the manager, it's not going to go well. And yeah, I mean, the club wants to keep Thomas Frank on and do what Arsenal did and trust the process of Arteta. But the problem is with that, Arsenal fans didn't have to go to the stadium because of COVID, or they couldn't go to the stadium, right? There's less pressure on him, right? You've got all this pressure. He needs to go. If he cannot deal with it right now, what's the point? Go. He needs to go. There is no point in trusting the process anymore. You have to go out and get a manager that can do the job properly and that can actually get us results, and not just just because our defending is technically better. And although yes, we're losing more games at this point than we were last season, we're not scoring as much. Football isn't about defending. Although yes, right, football is about attacking, defending, and finding the balance in between, right? It is. But you do not win a game without scoring goals. Scoring goals is probably the most important thing about football, because that's the only way you win. You're not going to win a game not scoring but defending well. Although yes, in a final, of course that could happen because penalties. But how do you win that game on penalties? You score a penalty. It's all about goals, right? If a team cannot score goals, then what's the point? Because if your attack is not up to scratch, then you're not going to win games. It doesn't matter how good your defence is. Because we don't score goals, it makes our backline look worse than it actually is. Van der Ven and Romero are brilliant defenders, and together they're great. But when you've got the pressure of the attack not doing their job, it means the defence are more likely to slip up because they've got so much more pressure on. Because if they make one mistake, this season you make one mistake, you go 1-0 down, right? There's a lot more pressure on you than there was last season, because last season, if you went 1-0 down, there might be a chance the attack would actually score another, and end up winning the game. With Poch, that is exactly what would happen. But I just think there's so much pressure on that back line, and that makes everyone put them in the discussion of they're terrible. They're not. Because when you actually watch the games, they're not bad. There's just so much pressure on their shoulders because the attack isn't doing their job. And honestly, now I don't even think that's down to the players themselves. I just think there's no trust or relationship with Thomas Frank. With Ange, although yes, our Premier League season was terrible, and if it was any other season, we'd be relegated. And honestly, I think we were saying that. I think the exact same thing could happen this season. I think we could definitely come 17th and not get relegated, because I think the bottom three are that bad. And although yes, we've lost to West Ham yesterday, we're still better than them. We are. There's no sugarcoating it. Just because you lose the game doesn't mean you're worse than them, right? On paper, we are better than them. We are. But there's just something going on with the tactics, the over-tactical approach from Frank. We need something simple. And I think that's bring Ange back. I think bring him back until the end of the season, I think. It may be a rogue shout, but yeah. Pochettino is open to manage us after the World Cup, and I think why not? Go for it. He's the only manager that's actually tried for us in the recent years. He's got us to that Champions League final. And I think he is what we might need. Although yes, his last season with us wasn't great. the seasons before then were fantastic with him, because at least he knows the club, he knows what we want as fans, and I think with the players we've got, I think he's going to do really, really well with them, especially your Xavi, your Gallagher, your Solanke. I think he'll know really what to do with them, and I really hope we do get him, but I cannot be going into next season with Frank still as the manager, because it's disgraceful. And, you know, it's not all partly Frank's fault, obviously. You know, it's the players not playing properly, you know. You know, a manager's tactics isn't going to stop a player from playing properly. Of course it's not. But, you know, the manager's down to the main foundation of how to play the game. And if that doesn't work, then it's all down to him. I'm sick of saying, oh, wait for this game, wait for that game, and if we lose that, sack him. Sack him now. There's no point of keeping him. There's no point. There cannot be one single Tottenham fan that's saying, keep him, trust the process. Football nowadays isn't about trusting the process. It's about what's happening right now, and right now we need to win, because right now we haven't won a game since December of last year. We're going to end up going into Feb without a win. You know, we've got 3 games left of the season. We've got Dortmund at home, Burnley away, Frankfurt away. Burnley away and Frankfurt away, we should be winning those games. We should be winning those games. Frankfurt aren't great, and they've lost their Ekatike from last season, and we managed to beat them. You know, we need to win that game. And Burnley away, we 100% need to beat them. You know, they're second last, obviously in front of Wolves, because who wouldn't be? And Dortmund, I mean, realistically, we do need to win that game. I mean, of course, we need to win every single game. But then after that, February is probably the toughest month. City, United, Newcastle, Arsenal. We need to win. We need to fucking win these games, because we cannot keep going on with draws and losses. We can't do that. Think about it this way, right? There's been no game that's properly separated us, other than Forest, Arsenal. Yeah, we haven't been battered other than those 2 games, right? Bournemouth at home, early in the season, 1 goal separated us. We could have easily come back and won that, right? Same with Villa, 2-1, could have easily come back and won that. Chelsea, 1-0. If we just showed some bloody competence, we could have won that. Arsenal, whatever. Fulham, easily could have won that. Liverpool, easily could have won that if they just got a grip. Brentford only had to score 1. Sunderland only had to score another or not concede the other one. Think about it this way. If we actually... There's no game, apart from the Forest and the Arsenal game, there's been no game that's separated, that both teams have been separated so much. You know, it would have been a fair result to lose. We could have easily won all them. And it's the same with the United game. We could have easily beat them. If you just kept your composure and you just didn't concede the last goal to delay it, you could have easily won that, and you would have got 3 points instead of the 1. And we'd be high up in the table if we could have just done that. If we could have just done that, great. The only games I felt convinced in are the Burnley, the City, the first West Ham game, and the Everton game. 2 of those games I actually went to, and for some reason that's, the only time they've actually, played football properly. I just think if we showed some bloody passion and actually showed that the players can actually play football, we'd be in a great place in the league, and we wouldn't be 14th as we are now, and we wouldn't be considered as a terrible team right now, because it's what we are. We're shit, and there's no dodging around that. We are just terrible, and change is needed. Like I said in the last video, things need to change. So many things need to change. And we all joke about get rid of all the players, but I think change the manager, see how the players are. If the players are still like that, it's the players' fault. But I don't think it will be. If we still had Ange, although yes, would we have gotten Xavi? Maybe not. But I would love to see Ange or someone else with this team, because I can't keep doing this, really. I can't. It's difficult. As a Tottenham fan, it's difficult because now I don't even want to watch football and I just want to get this season over with. I just want to watch the World Cup, have fun. Because even in the World Cup, even when England will probably most likely eventually get knocked out, you know, at least there's still entertainment with the World Cup. There's no entertainment with this. You know, I'm not going into a game being like, okay, you know what, I'm going to be entertained. Although I was with the Liverpool game, and you know, there's some games I'm entertained with, even when we lose. But it's just poor, and it gets to a point where it may be entertaining, but it just gets boring, and I'm getting sick of losing these games we should be winning. And yeah, I mean, the rest of the season, God knows what will happen. God knows what will happen. We'll probably end up getting relegated, and we'll end up losing half our team. But you know, I guess it is what it is, isn't it? You know, it's up to the players, and if we end up getting relegated, then what's the point anymore? You know, what's the point? It's all down to the players because they're fucking shit. It's all down to them because they need to get a grip of shit. They need to, because we can't keep it going on like this. It's just not on. It's just not right. And you know, if we keep doing this every season, getting closer and closer to relegation, we're going to end up getting there. But then there's also the players like Van der Ven, you know, they're being linked to Liverpool and Madrid. Just think, you want to leave us, right? But it's your fault we're losing because you're the defence, right? You are the defence. It is your fault that we're conceding goals. Realistically, it is. Same with the attack. You want to leave? Well, score some goals, and then maybe you wouldn't have to leave because we'll actually do well. You know, it goes all sorts of ways, and it's down to every single person that has something to do with the football club, right? The players, the manager, the owners, the medical, because I don't know what the hell is going on with players getting injured all the time. There's something off about that medical team. Everything internally about Tottenham, there is something wrong with each department. Manager, owner, everything. There's something going on with every single little bit of that club, and it all needs changing. It all needs changing. Manager needs to go. Medical team, change them, because something's wrong. Because we cannot keep having all these injuries. We can't keep on losing. We need to score goals, but we need to not concede goals. I mean, there's nothing else to say because I'm gonna end up saying the same thing every single week. And when I come back on Wednesday after the Dortmund game, however that will go, hopefully it will change, and hopefully we actually play great. But I guess we'll find out and see. But yeah, I think that's enough for me today. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to drop a comment down below of your thoughts. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you want to watch the last video, about just how I feel about the club, click somewhere here, subscribe somewhere here, and I will see you on Wednesday, hopefully after the Dortmund game. Hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.